Wind Sculpture, a public installation by English-Nigerian artist Yinka Shonibare, and Inzilo, a short art film by South African artist Mohau Modisakeng, show life with death and past with future. In the re-relation of these concepts, the artworks find a way to represent Black death as Black life. Wind Sculpture by Yinka Shonibare towered over New York City's Central Park in 2018. This work differs from Shonibare's usual works due to its astronomical scale of 7 feet and its abstract gravity-defying form, which give the piece a sense of elementary metaphysical joy. The sculpture slices a wedge into the air of being and stretches out a liminal space between life and death and past and future, large enough for ancestral spirits to fly free and for time to flow free. Bursting from the ground like a geyser from a hot spring, the wind sculpture is a portal to the energy of ancestral spirits. The ground is busy with Black afterlife. Central Park rests on the archaeological remains of a Black village from 1837. The triumphant streaks of blazing orange, cooling teal, and broad beige race through the sculpture, and their momentum playfully leaps and disappears into the corners of New York. The circular patterns resemble a sun over the horizon, either a sunrise or a sunset, and this ambiguity teases the rules. There is death in life and life in death. In contrast with the sculpture's sense of motion is its massive metaphysical stillness that suspends the past and future. Shonibare constructed the piece from hand-painted resin, pouring it into a mold he created from a photograph of another fabric. Although the form of the sculpture inherently remembers its origins and cannot destroy this relation, the still sculpture still represents radical freedom. The sculpture rests at the midpoint of an hourglass of time-space. All past and future possibilities pass through this frozen instant. Had the fabric been rising, it would continue to rise. Had the fabric been falling, it would continue to fall. The frozen instant is suspended between infinite combinations of the past and present, all of which can change. In this sense, to be free is to create the past and futures that anchor one's present being. Mohau Modisakeng, a South African artist, exercises this freedom. As with Shonibare, Modisakeng's creative practice creates dimensions where afterlives proliferate and the present is in flux, as seen in Inzilo. Inzilo was created 5 years before Wind Sculpture and shows Modisakeng performing a mourning ritual as a widow. His soft masculine frame seems to glow from within, pulling the viewer into a scorching, immediate interiority that turns the personal into the political. The charcoal on his skin, gunshots echoing with black shells, and a mountain of black silk reference the Marikana massacres, where thousands of miners witnessed the most lethal use of state violence in the post-apartheid era. During the ritual, Modisakeng creates a past to shape the future, reenacting Black death to transform it into Black life. Modisakeng travels to the mind by soaring over the mountains, indicated by the chirping sounds, swinging of the camera, and outstretched arms. Then his arms slacken and alienate from his torso, forming the crosshair of a gun or a cross. He removes and reapplies the charcoal, which looks as though he is washing and brewing a body, then rises to his feet, releasing the spirits of miners into the air. A hazy cloud of a ghost rises before Modisakeng, showing that Black afterlife still exists in Black life. Through the halting stillness of Modisakeng's gestures, Black death of the past transforms into Black life of the future. Modisakeng's mourning ritual necessarily takes place in the liminal space between life and death, alive with ancestral spirits who help and protect him. The charcoal on Modisakeng's arm signifies muti, traditional medicine whose name derives from tree bark in Zulu and draws its power from ancestral spirits. The Marikana miners had applied muti on their bodies to make them more brave and immune from the police during their strike. Now, the same muti enchanting the parts of Modisakeng's body most important to the journey, clinging to his wing-like hands as he flies or wrapping his feet before he stands. As Modisakeng transforms miners from death to life, he also transforms Blackness. When Modisakeng carefully peels off the charcoal from his body, the charcoal resembles what anti-colonial revolutionary Frantz Fanon described as congealed Black blood, a symbol for the racial historical schema of Blackness. By lifting the shell from his skin and fitting it over himself again, Modisakeng shows the nature of Blackness as malleable and temporal. Modisakeng recasts Black death as Black life, and by doing so, Modisakeng resists a pervasive anti-Blackness in transatlantic democracies that, in the words of Christina Sharpe, rely on Black death as a foundational aspect. Wind Sculpture and Inzilo seek ways to live through anti-Blackness by re-relating life with death and past with future. They do in the wake what the Wind Sculpture does in the wind. It gives shape to the incommensurable, it perpetually becomes, and it blows wind back.